Hello YouTube, thanks for watching Prachetan Anubhuti. Today we'll discuss about the types of personalities and we'll learn how it is going to be useful to know about the type of personalities we come across in day-to-day life or our own very way of communication or learning patterns. So let us start the journey. Suppose there has been an accident and we have three witnesses who were present at the scene. Let us ask them what they know about the accident. When we ask Rahul, Rahul describes it as, I saw two cars bang to each other head on. The scene was horrific. The car parts were flying apart. A lot of people gathered and they too were wondering what happened there. I saw blood coming out of the car and I saw the emergency team arrive at the scene and start giving the treatment. Ravi says, I heard a very big bang. The noise was too loud and it could have easily heard from very long distance. I could hear people screaming from inside of the car and shouting for the help. I heard the ambulance coming and providing help to the needy. And Salini describes it as, the cars were moving too fast. I sensed there is something wrong with the way the cars were being driven. The impact was so powerful that I could feel the vibration myself. It must have been very painful for the victims. Hope they get the necessary attention from the doctors and be able to get on with the life soon. Are they describing three different accidents? No, it's the same. It's the same event perceived in three different ways. What's the difference? Rahul described what he saw, whereas Rabi described what he heard and Salini described what she felt and the emotions attached to it. This is how nature has created all of us. Few learn and observe the world through the auditory senses. Few learn and observe through the visual senses. Few other through touch, feel and emotions. There are many categories, but we'll focus on the major three. Let us explore more. Visual person is one who likes to see. They are attracted to colors. They like to get into the details. They understand pictures a lot easily than volume of text or speech. They are fond of symbols and they can remember them very easily. In your school days, you or few of your friends might have written the entire book on a notepad before appearing in the exam. Why somebody needs to write it? The thing is, they need to see it in their own handwriting in order to learn it and store it in their memory. They find it very difficult to remember verbal instructions because their minds tend to wander. They are less distracted by noise. They tend to speak faster, as while speaking, thousands of images float through their mind. These are clear signs that the person is a visual person, and they will learn and understand quite fast when visual tools like graphs, charts, or diagrams are provided to them. They love the details of a picture, they love the color, they get into the details, and they love the minute details a lot. Well then, what is the distinctive traits of a visual person? They are very well groomed, great sense of appearance, because they see themselves and they appreciate well-groomed person as the aesthetic look of a person appeals to them. And whenever you ask them about something, immediately their eyes will go up. Generally, somebody tend to look right up, and for few it will be left corner or the right corner. Generally in schools, teachers or fellow students make fun of a visual kid by saying, hey, answer is not written on the roof. What are you staring at? But basically, he is trying to answer by recollecting the visuals from his memory. Never ever tease someone for looking up. This is how their memory works. In a meeting or conference room, you will notice the visual persons sitting upright, very observant. Visual person often have an artistic flair. They like colors, they like paintings, they like intricate shapes. When it comes to finding a direction, you need to show them the map to describe a direction. They need to see a picture. Simple verbal explanation never works for them. While talking to a visual person, try to highlight the points you want to make. Use different colors. Use different colors in the mail or use italics or bold to highlight the important point which you want to emphasize upon. If you are describing something to a visual person, never hesitate to draw a diagram or two to explain the details. In that way, it helps them to visualize and understand your point. Encourage the individual to view your written materials as you go over them verbally. Ask them to describe their view or perception to you. Ask them if they can see what you are trying to say. When talking in person with a visual person, maintain eye contact or else you lose their attention. Key challenge to interact with the visual communicator is they need to visualize. And if you stop only at describing them everything, they might not able to visualize it. It doesn't really matter for them how good you are with your vocabulary. Suppose a visual person is trying to talk to you, he will tend to talk fast. It's like, hello, I'm Pragya speaking. How was your day so far? Did you have lunch on time? Call me back once you are available. So they talk fast because each word is for them is a picture and picture tend to move faster in brain. So this is how they are going to speak. Visual person will use following phrases while they talk. These are your clue to identify if the person is a visual person or not. I need to see it. I don't see the point in doing this. I see. Please show the email to me. I see. What do you mean? That looks horrible. All are pointing to a visual clue. Now coming to an auditory person. An auditory person loves to hear. One can easily observe few of us are great at listening. Few of us can listen to the music for hours or listen to the lecture for the entire class without even any distraction. If choice is between a video song and the audio of it, they will prefer the audio. You would have noticed few of your friends need to read the book aloud to remember. They will get distracted when someone makes a noise while they try to read. The auditory person speaks with a medium speed because they need to hear it to understand it. They tend to bend the head to one side while they talk to you. They are very casual when they talk to you. They will bend their head to one side as if they are talking to someone over phone, and they will shake their head while listening to you. So people who are predominantly auditory do things more rhythmically. They will find a sense of rhythm in their body. Their voice tend to be mid-range. They talk to themselves either internally or externally. They may even move their lips when they are reading. When you talk to an auditory person, you will notice the shift of their eyes towards their left ears. It is a very important visual clue. So whenever you are asked something about their past, immediately the eye will turn towards left. Focus on the ear. They focus on the sounds to recall any past event or experience. Auditory persons are excellent at negotiation and bargaining because it involves a lot of talking. They can easily speak multiple languages. They are very good at multilinguistic persons. You can easily find them in a meeting or conference room sitting very relaxed like the kid in the picture sitting, head tilted towards one side as if they are taking a call. If you want to remind them of an upcoming event, you need to tell them. Simply sending an email doesn't help that much because they don't remember visual thing. They need to hear it. When in a conversation, always invite them to talk and encourage participating in a discussion. They need to hear it. Be patient while having a discussion with an auditory person as they might need to hear the information multiple times. Always try to describe the direction to them in words rather than showing them a map because visual aid won't be of much of help. If you want to emphasize on something, stress on the words. use voice modulation to highlight the important points. Suppose a auditory person is talking to you, he is going to sound something like this. Hello, I am Pragya speaking. How was your day so far? Did you have lunch on time? Call me back once you are available. Observe the rhythm. They use terms like, that sounds great. Yeah, I hear you. That rings a bell. Sounds like a plan. See, all the verbs are related to sound. That's the key hint to know a person is auditory or not. Now, let us talk about kinesthetic or kino persons. The word kinesthetic means the sensation of movement or the muscle sense. Kino people are most active among all groups. They do enjoy sports, outdoor adventures. For that matter, any activity that involves physical effort. Their way of communication is through emotions, touch, and feelings. They learn through hands-on way. They rarely believe in theory. They need to do it. They are the doers. They love to jump into something if they have to explore new thing rather than going step by step into instruction. They like to explore. They like to put their hands on that. You would notice for few person or kids it's very difficult to sit in the same place for a longer period. They are very active. Sometimes they were given medicine to reduce their activities. It is the way of their learning or knowing the world around it. Confining them to a auditory or visual aspect of learning is as equivalent to putting them in a jail or prison. They need to feel, touch and be part of the learning process so that they can feel it as an emotional experience. Now there is a great emphasis on kinesthetic presentation skills. People can master of voice modulation or excellent at preparing slides, but if they cannot connect to the audience through emotions or make the presentation as an experience, they cannot go to the highest level of presentation skills. Be it in politics or be it in corporate world, if you want to be the person who is excellent in communication, you have to reach to the kinesthetic appeal of the communication aspects. You can Google about kinesthetic presentation skills. There are many good articles are present about it. So, what are the traits of a kino person? As soon as you ask them something, they will look down. They will try to gather the emotion associated with it by using their entire body, all the muscles they can use. Physically, they tend to be more solid looking. Generally, their hands are larger or chunky so that they can get a grips with things. They need to touch everything. They need to feel everything. If you ask for help, instead of helping you, they will end up doing it by themselves because they are doers. They believe in doing. When you discuss something with a kino person, be ready to answer a lot of questions or challenges like why not, if I do this, what will happen, can it be done in this way, or it should be done in the other way. They always jump ahead in the steps when you try to explain something. Encourage them to understand the big picture. They will not stop till they understand how the idea or proposal is going to work. They won't be interested in theory, rather than they will be too keen to know the practical implementation of the idea. Try to make it an experience rather than just a presentation involved of speech and few slides. They tend to speak slowly. They possess a very deep voice. They take long pauses between the sentences because with each sentence, with each word, they take time to feel it. They try to feel the emotion behind the words. They respond well to physical gesture like touch, hugs, or tap on the shoulders. You can identify them in a meeting very easily. They are the restless kind. They always lean forward on the chair while sitting. If a kino person talks to you, he might speak in this way. Hello, I am Pragya speaking. How was your day so far? Did you have lunch on time? Call me back once you are available. They use phrases like I feel, I can grasp that, I can't handle it, do you feel me? After knowing the varieties, why it is so important to know the other individual's communication ability as well as yours. Suppose we take different aspect of life. In family, spousal communication is very important in marriage. If you understand your spouse way of communication, it can immensely help in commuting with them. If your spouse is an auditory person, he or she would expect you to listen or talk to you more than showing bodily gesture. If your spouse is a kino, then you need to show physical gesture to communicate. It has to go beyond words or visual gesture. A hug, a touch, a warmth, sitting next to each other will go way forward than just words or telling them or showing them the physical gesture. Very important thing in family to know about your kids' way of communication. It will help your child to learn fast and effectively. If you buy colorful books for an auditory kid or sound making toys for a visual kid, it won't be as effective as expected. But if you give sounds to an auditory kid who is very keen on listening, and if you provide visual aids to a kid who is more more tuned towards visual learning, or you can provide toys, educational toys that something can be touched and felt to a kino kid, they will learn much faster. In office, it is very important to know your colleague or teammates with whom you interact frequently. It will help immensely to communicate effectively through email or presentation or in meetings. Auditory person will respond well to voice, while visual person will understand your presentations well. And kino person needs the meetings as experience rather than just a visual or audio presentation. You can excel in your job when you know what kind of communication is needed with whom. That is the key. That separates between average communicator and excellent communicator. Right skills for right job will do wonders while hiring. Imagine an auditory person for a counselor, or a visual person for a graphic designer, or a kinesthetic person as an event manager or sports coach. If you know your interviewer during the interview, then you can sell yourself easily by adopting the right strategy. You can show a visual interviewer that what you have done, or try to draw some diagrams. You can emphasize on words, and you can work on voice modulation when you are talking to an auditory person. And it is going to be a disaster, a telephonic interview with a visual person, because it's very difficult to make them visualize with your words. You really need special skills there. Parents should know their kids' way of learning to facilitate the kid with appropriate channels of learning. Communication. You need to match with the person with whom you are communicating. You can talk fast to a kino person and that would be a disaster. Suppose a kino person is on the other line and you are talking like, hello sir, how are you interested in listening to my products? Or you show a beautiful picture to an auditory person, he won't be paying attention. For a kino person, you need to say, as soon as somebody says hello, I am Pragya speaking, when the voice is deep and he is speaking slow, you need to match their tone. You need to say, hello sir, how are you? Are you interested in listening about my products? To a visual person, if you maintain this tone, he will lose interest. He needs fast, he needs to visualize it. He needs the pace. Hello sir, how are you? Are you interested in listening about my products? If you try to speak in between a speech when you are talking to an auditory person, he is going to get distracted very easily. He is focusing on the sound. Never cut a auditory person in between of the speech. They need to listen. And never be impatient. When they ask multiple times, if you don't tell them, they cannot understand. If you keep a meeting and you don't have a presentation, only you talk about it, then you lose attention of a visual person. They need to see something to relate to it. Life is not perfect. It never is. And life is not always white or black. Always it is somewhere in the gray areas. So a person is always mix of all three, but one of the character will be dominant. So always you can identify the leading trend in one's personality, and you can strategize your communication based on that, so that you can effectively communicate with those people. With practice, one can develop a balance between different aspects of auditory, visual, or kinesthetic communication or learning abilities. Successful communicator always makes a beautiful balance between the ways of learning or communication. That's why they are very, very successful. So it's always not the one or the other. It is always the balance. Balance is key to the communication. Hope you like this presentation. You can go onto Google and try to learn more about this. There are a lot of very good articles out there. You can learn from them. Try to discover yourself. Try to discover the persons in your family. Try to discover the colleagues in your group. Try to improve. Try to practice the other aspects of communication that you lack in, and be a great communicator. And if you like this video, do subscribe to Prachetan Anubhuti and do like it. Thank you. Thanks for giving me your precious time.